Hello and welcome to the local business TV interview. Today we are visiting Barnet Wills based in North London. Ellie, welcome to the show.
Hi Max, thank you for having me.
Ellie, you told me that in the last year you saved 16 companies from potential disaster. Please introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us how you did it.
My name is Ellie Pressman from Barnet Wills based in Totteridge and Whetstone. Every company situation is obviously different, but a recent example is I had a customer come to see me who wanted to rewrite his will. What prompted this was about 18 months ago, his business partner died. And although his business partner did have a will, leaving everything to his wife, it didn't take into account any of his business assets or his business. The resulting complications meant that my client wasn't able to buy the deceased partner's shareholding, and as a result, the business ended up folding, and neither the deceased partner's wife or my customer got any money out of it.
Is this why you set up Barnet Wills?
Yes. I've been involved in financial services for about 25 years, and wills are always the cornerstone of all financial planning. And in the end, I decided that rather than send my customers off elsewhere to have their wills, which often they didn't do, I took it upon myself to actually do it for them. And I decided to focus purely on wills both for individuals and for corporate customers.
Please explain what services you offer.
I offer last will and testaments for both individuals and business wills. I offer lasting powers of attorney, which include health and welfare and property and affairs. I do various trusts, which help to protect assets, both individual and business, from inheritance tax.
Ellie, what is the difference between an individual will and a business will?
Well, an individual will only take into account someone's personal assets, whereas a business will is for someone who is a sole trader or who has shares in a company or perhaps is a partner, and will take into account their business assets and make special provisions for the business itself, continuity of the business, making sure that if anything happens, that the business partners have sufficient funds to buy the shareholding, securing the staff, the partners, and their family also.
Ellie, what is the philosophy of your company?
It's to ensure that my customers have peace of mind, that their wish is actually taken into consideration, and that the money ends up where it was intended to go. A recent example of this is I very recently was referred to two sisters. They were both widows, and they were living together, and neither had children. So up until this point, they didn't make any wills because they were each other's next of kin. After talking to them, I learned that they actually had a brother who passed away about 2 years earlier. They weren't particularly close, but the brother left two boys. And I had to point out to the sisters that if anything happened to either one of them, that 50% of the estate would be divided between their two nephews, rather than 100% going to the remaining sister. So it was very important that they had to avoid, the only way to avoid this was to actually do it through a will.
Ellie, what makes your service different and how do you add value to your clients?
I offer a 3-in-1 service. First of all, my customers will have their will professionally drawn up. On top of that, I can help minimize and in some cases negate their inheritance tax liability. And thirdly, I can actually offer advice on various forms of trusts. A good example of this is I very recently went to see a customer who employed 148 people. He wasn't married and he didn't have any children. So his biggest concern was if anything happened to him, the business would fold. So what we had to do was set up a trust so that if anything happened to him, the business would be passed into trust, and therefore all his 148 staff and their families and dependents, their jobs and their futures would be safeguarded because the company can continue to be in business.
Ellie, how do you differ from a solicitor?
Well, first of all, I actually specialize in wills. Not all solicitors are actually will specialists. Secondly, solicitors often appoint themselves as professional executors. And this has two problems. One, the costs can be very expensive. And secondly, if the customer or the beneficiary is actually unhappy with the service, there's nothing they can do about it. They're stuck with them. Thirdly, my overheads are much cheaper, so my fees are fixed and are much more competitive. And I would like to add that I'm also very flexible, so I would see customers either at their own place of work or at their home, so the instruction taking for the customer is in a much more relaxed atmosphere.
Ellie, do you have any special incentive programs?
Yes, I regularly run various promotions, and I would recommend that customers visit my website to check.
Ellie, thank you very much for having taken time out of your busy schedule to participate in the local business TV interview. I wish you the very best of luck with your business.
Thank you very much, Max.
Thank you, Ellie, and goodbye.
Goodbye.